On the night of January 11th, 2019, a volunteer firefighter named Curtis D. Halloran pulled a phone out of a truck that had been submerged in a frozen creek for 19 years, answered it, and spoke to a man who had been declared legally dead in 2004. Halloran drove a 1996 Ford with a heater that only worked on the passenger side. He'd been a volunteer with the Ashwick County Fire District for 6 years, mostly grass fires and the occasional overturned combine. That Friday, he'd cleared a small brush fire off Kettlebench Road at 11:30, and he was taking the long way home along County Route 41 because it was quieter and because the diner on the highway had already closed. The temperature that night read -14 degrees on the dashboard gauge. He almost didn't see the truck. It sat inverted in Muddler Creek, maybe 300 yards down a slope thick with brush, and the only reason it caught his headlights at all was a strip of chrome bumper poking through the snow. It looked old. It looked like it had been there a long time. The snow on the undercarriage was smooth and unbroken, weeks of it, and that was the first thing that didn't fit because there'd been fresh snow that very afternoon. He climbed down with his flashlight, expecting a body. The cab was empty. Both doors were frozen shut, sealed in ice thick enough that he had to kick the driver's side twice to break the seam. What stopped him before he ever touched the door was the snow around the wreck. Undisturbed. No footprints leading down. None leading away. Nothing. Then the phone rang. It was coming from inside, muffled, buzzing against metal. He wrenched the door open and found it lodged beneath the driver's seat. A squat little flip phone, slick with frost. The screen said, in plain letters, 911, calling. He answered it. The voice on the other end was a man whispering close to the mouthpiece. "If anyone picks up, don't let them find me. They're still here." The line went dead before Halloran could say a word. He checked the phone. No service bars, no battery indicator at all, just a blank corner where the icon should be. The model, he'd later learn, was a Nix Communications V220, discontinued in 2003. The sheriff's office recovered the truck the next morning. It belonged to Daniel R. Vosberg, 41, a septic contractor who had gone missing along Route 41 in the autumn of 2000. His case file number AC1944 listed him as a runaway despite a wife, 2 kids and $11,000 left untouched in a checking account. No emergency call was ever logged from his phone. The carrier records, pulled that same week, showed the number went dark on October 9th, 2000, and never transmitted again. Halloran knew what he'd heard. He started asking questions. The retired deputy who'd worked the original case, a man named Errol J. Featherstone, agreed to meet him once. He confirmed the truck had been searched for by air and never located, which he found strange because Muddler Creek was on the flight grid. He mentioned there'd been others. A hunter in 1988. A woman whose car was found running with the doors open in 95. A teenager in 2009, all along the same 11-mile stretch. When Halloran called Featherstone a second time, the man said he didn't remember any conversation and asked him not to call again. That became the pattern. An old woman named Alta Mireille Duguay, who'd lived on Route 41 since the 60s, told Halloran her husband used to say you could hear a phone ringing out by the creek on cold nights, and that he'd gone to look for it once and come back not quite right. She told him this on a Tuesday. On Thursday, she was moved to a care facility 3 counties over by a nephew nobody in town had ever met. The reference librarian who pulled the old missing persons clippings for him retired abruptly and left no forwarding address. The tow operator who winched the truck out reported his logbook stolen from his locked cab. Halloran documented all of it. Times, names, the exact odometer reading on Vosberg's truck, which was 41,603 miles, the same number a state trooper had written down in 2000 when he'd passed the truck parked and empty on the shoulder 6 days before it was reported missing. The truck that hadn't been found for 19 years had been seen, running, on the road, after Vosberg vanished. He couldn't explain that. He stopped trying. Curtis Halloran resigned from the fire district in March of 2019. He told the chief he wasn't sleeping. He'd started keeping the flip phone in a drawer, and he said, more than once, that it still felt warm when he picked it up, though it had no battery anyone could find. On the night of April 2nd, driving home from a call he'd volunteered for one last time, his own cell phone rang on the seat beside him. The caller ID said simply, 911. He answered because he already knew he would. The same whisper, the same closeness to the mouthpiece. "You should have left me in the creek. Now they know your name." Halloran's truck was found the following morning on the shoulder of Route 41, engine running, driver's door open, a fresh layer of snow smooth and unbroken in every direction around it. His phone was recovered from beneath the seat. It had no service, no charge, and its call log was empty except for one outgoing line placed at 4:19 that morning. The number it dialed belonged to Daniel R. Vosberg.